stock taking on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu 2 years midterm of his first term for presidency. Now, today's edition will be focusing on his economic diplomacy across the world in a way of attracting foreign direct investment to the country. 2 years after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu resumed office on May 29, 2023, President Tinubu's foreign policy decision is centered on economic diplomacy. It started out with a domestic reform such as the removal of the fuel subsidy and the unification of the foreign exchange window. This twin policy aligned with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's persistent international message that Nigeria is open for business, open to global economy and trade activities. Although the insecurity persists in West Africa and specifically in Nigeria with terrorism and banditry, but President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appears to be more focused on bilateral relations aimed at economic growth for Nigeria. And President Tinubu also emphasized promoting democratic order in the region and global South Alliance. For instance, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's foreign policy, according to Minister of Foreign Affairs Mohammed Tuga, is anchored on a 4D doctrine, which is democracy, development, demography, and diaspora. These doctrines are designed to protect Nigeria's interests and also reposition the country as a proactive and respected actor on the global economic stage. In the first year of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he went on about 20 foreign trips, and in the second year, he took around 15 foreign trips, bringing the total number to international trips about 35. Practically and empirically, on his economic diplomacy journey, President Tinubu pursued a stronger economic ties with the likes of China, France, India, USA, as well as Netherlands and Saudi Arabia. For instance, during his first visit to China in September 2024, the president signed a bilateral deals with the Chinese government and various Chinese companies, focusing on improving the national rail transport system, digital literacy, agricultural production, and national security. Also in April 2024, from the Netherlands announced the investment of about $250 million in Nigeria and a $100 million investment in waste-to-wealth industry facility in Lagos State, Nigeria. And in a move to deepen Nigerian economic diplomacy, the federal government formally gazetted its preferential tariff concession under the African Continental Free Trade Area (AFTA) in April of 2025, becoming the 23rd country to do so. Meanwhile, in January of 2025 also, Nigeria became an official partner in the BRICS economy and political bloc. That is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, the BRICS. The development granted the country access to financial offer by the BRICS New Development Bank and opened a new avenue for expanding economic relations and trade partnership with members of the BRICS Commission. However, according to some economists and financial analysts, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration has rebranded Nigeria economic diplomacy on a global stage through its constitutional foreign policy responsibility, substituting the clarity with slogan. All these demonstrate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's effort to attract foreign direct investment, FDIs, and foreign portfolio investment, FPI, into the Nigerian economy, and telling the global economic community, especially during his visit to France, India, and the US, and Saudi Arabia, that Nigeria is ready for private sector-led economic growth in the country. And again, experts still describe the President Tinubu's pursuit of improved bilateral relations with other countries within and outside Africa as a policy orientation that takes cognizance of the country's domestic reality. However, economic diplomacy is regarded as a realistic policy outlook predicated on the country's core interests, of which President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been pursuing for the past 2 years. However, on the other hand, interestingly, supporters of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu economic diplomacy see that as the economic diplomacy policy that has attracted and is building investors' confidence, supporting microeconomic conditions and currency volatility, and also bringing the country out of insecurity. Hence, the economic diplomatic outreach has translated into tangible economic benefit, which is beneficiary for the country to take advantage of as a growing economy among African countries. On the show today, we want to find out how important is economic diplomacy to Nigeria. How much of the FDIs and the FPIs has President Tinubu economic diplomacy attracted to Nigeria within the last 2 years of his administration? And what are the challenges of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu economic diplomacy, as being joined by Professor Ghali Ibrahim, Head of Department Political Science and International Relations, and Director of Center for International Investors of Abuja. He'll be joining me. He has already joined. A very good day to you, Prof.
Good afternoon, my brother.
All right, very interesting and quite a good network we are having to quickly dissect this economic diplomacy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. First and foremost, 2 years have gone the drain. What is your assessment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu government, at least in the last 2 years?
When President Ahmed Bola Tinubu came, and in his first year, I discovered something about him which made him go agog, you know, in terms of cultivating, you know, foreign direct investment, as you mentioned. And I discovered that when he attended the G20 summit in New Delhi in India, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was moving helter-skelter to see that he grabs some major investors come into Nigerian economy to actually invest. This is a good thing because the economy he inherited, many foreign investors had actually shut down production. They had actually closed down industries and they have left the country. And even as of the first quarter, second quarter, when President Ahmed Bola Tinubu came, some industrialists as well as investors, you know, who came to Nigeria to do businesses, they were still shutting down. So, but in this particular effort, in order to maintain stability within the Nigerian economic system, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu saw it imperative to actually not be in his, powerhouse to rest. He did not see that as a priority, but rather to go out and hunt after industries as well as business owners to come and directly invest in Nigerian economy so that Nigerians could be employed, so that Nigeria could get more revenue, more national income through taxes, so that Nigerians could have new product in the market and many more advantages to be harnessed. So I saw this, you know, in the first time when he came. Then apart from this, when you attract foreign direct investment, you ask them to come and invest, definitely you are bound to have new technologies introduced, you know, into your economy, more managerial skills or new managerial skills coming to your economy. So this being the foundation of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu's economic diplomacy, which necessitate, so many trips outside the country in order to meet with this particular industry owners, manufacturers, as well as more corporate organizations to come and invest in Nigeria's, economic environment.
Exactly. Prof, I really appreciate the way you bring this discussion with a very sound intellectual background. But, many of our viewers who may also want to understand what economic diplomacy is all about. Can you shed a light, from your perspective, as someone I know to be an international political economist, can you help us out on economic diplomacy, what it really entails?
Diplomacy as seen as the art and act of international relations, which has been endorsed since Westphalia, is the coming together of states and state actors to discuss on political, economic, social, cultural, educational, security, and all other aspects that actually affect their coexistence. So economic diplomacy here, we means that the coming together of state actors to discuss issues that affect international economic relations as well as local or domestic economic development. So this is what literally economic diplomacy means. So economic diplomacy in the parlance, it could also mean a kind of interaction between or among states in terms of strategizing on areas of production, international production, international exchanges, distribution, as well as consumption. So economic diplomacy affects all these particular procedures and areas, protocols, looking at the rules and regulations governing the conduct of this particular interactions, as well as industrial capacity building, industrialization, in terms of manufacturing, in terms of distribution. So economic diplomacy takes care of all these particular aspects and variables within the framework of international relations.
Exactly. Very fantastic from you, Prof. But many viewers also, as many Nigerians who want to be educated, having enlightenment in this regard, because most times when they hear the president going out, as I read out in my intro, the president have gone out 35 times. In the first year, he went out 20 times. In the second year, he have gone out 15 times, making about 35 times that he has traveled out of the country. But many Nigerians may be confused that he's going out. What is the essence? So I want to put this question to you, Prof. In your own understanding as a scholar in this regard, what has been the challenge of Nigerian economic diplomacy, that the moment the president comes into power, he will always go out to go and, they may call it there's a language they use to provide that when the president started global trooping, or they call it. But what has been so specific that it is a challenge that the president that comes in must always go out? So what I'm asking is that, are there challenges with the economic diplomacy in Nigeria?
Well, the challenges we can actually derive from our economic diplomacy is consistency. Consistency in the sense that when you carry out a kind of diplomatic tourism, you travel outside the country, meet other state actors and stakeholders, and you interact and you discuss.
Oh, we have a network shock there, but I believe Prof will be back so that he can help us to really shed light on the issue of economic diplomacy, particularly anytime a new president comes into power, they will always find a way. Okay, go ahead, Prof. Go ahead, sir.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes. Sometimes people could ask a question that what benefit have these particular trips brought to the country? So this is one major challenge. And when our state actors travel outside to engage with other state actors, discuss on the fruitful areas of our economic relationship, then they need to actually make sure that such engagement bring and yield positive results. Make sure that our people are actually employed, they have the job. Make sure that the dream has become a reality, and make sure that what has been discussed has actually materialized. So one challenge is that sometimes the state actors just travel without coming back with a tangible outcome that could actually bring development to the country. So this is one major challenge that we have. That is why I call it consistency and persistency. And whenever we travel, we engage, we should make it more practical. Practical in the sense that, when are you coming? I'm expecting you, let's say after 7 months, I want to see you in Nigeria. When I see you in Nigeria, I'm giving you a land in Abuja, or a land in Nasarawa State, or in Lagos, or in Kano State. Come, what kind of portfolio investment? Is it foreign direct investment with portfolio or without portfolio? With portfolio is that such a company or industry is coming to build its production plant in our land. Then without portfolio is you are only going to be assembling your product, what you have manufactured from outside. So that is why foreign direct investment in Nigeria should be with portfolio. Because if it is with portfolio, it means that we're going to have more benefit out of that particular investment, because we're going to have more job opportunities for our populace, in our country. So that is the major challenge. It should be more practicable. It should be more, pragmatic. It should be more, activated and more active when it comes to implementation. Exactly. So our state actors shouldn't just travel to Netherlands or anywhere. But I understand the level of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has been so spirited, highly spirited, in terms of bringing foreign direct investors into the country. When he was in New Delhi, I was even criticizing him that, if you want to attract foreign investors, You don't, it's not by force, it's by attraction. You attract them, you provide an enabling environment, securitized environment, more resourceful environment with water, with power. So I believe that we have our assignment, our homework, which we need to do. Before industries are established, availability of power, availability of water, security, availability of labor. So all these things need to be perfected, which is a major challenge in our country. So Mr. President has to invigorate action and strategies to making sure that Nigerians do not have power supply daily, but it should be made permanent. Permanent in the sense that 24 hours, 7, we have power supplies in the country. We have uninterrupted water supply, in our settlement. And this, before you even travel and call them, they will carry out their analysis, market analysis, that where is it good for doing business. They will, of course, identify and recognize Nigeria. They will identify and recognize which state.
I think we're also having another network cut there, but I know Prof will be back so that he can continue from his thought line of what he's talking about, the issues around Nigerian economic diplomacy, particularly from the angle of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and way forward on it. The next question I want to put out to Prof is the uniqueness of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu economic diplomacy, and I hope he'll be back with us so that he can help us to extray that angle going forward. Because one of the key questions many Nigerians will be asking is that we have had different presidents traveling here and there, trying to bring in FDI, trying to bring in FBI, but all of them seem to be doing the same thing, not quite different for what they are. Okay, Prof, you are back. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, you see, the uniqueness of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu's economic diplomacy is what I earlier mentioned. From pragmatism, to practicability. Recently, like 2 days ago, I read the news. Minister of Mining, who is co-establishing, Nigeria is co-establishing mining processing plants and industries in Nigeria, about 2 of such. So which means that the mining industry, which contributes just 1% to our national income, it means that now Nigeria is going to actually diversify economically. We're going to see the mining industry contributing significantly into the national income of Nigeria. And we're going to generate more job opportunities, for Nigerians, as well as more revenues generated from this particular sector. So I think this is highly unique. Before, the previous administrations and government have left mining in the hands of tout, have left mining in the hands of the private individuals who actually destroy the environment, who contribute to insecurity in the country. So if the government should actually step up this particular action to partner with China in making sure that Nigeria own its resources as well as mine its resources, process its solid minerals and mineral resources, then it means that the administration is becoming unique in terms of economic diplomacy, which showcases itself as distinct to all other administrations who have not been able to do this.
Very interesting, Prof. And when you did mention about China, one of the outing of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in that late 2023 when he took over power and early 2024, he had a strategic economic diplomacy with China. In the mining sector today we are talking about, just 2 days back, the Minister of Mining, Dr. Alake, came out and said Nigeria have earned over 13.8 trillion naira from that mining sector. And kudos is being given to the strategic economic diplomacy that the government is having with China, with the equipment and the rest of them that is coming into the Nigerian mining sector. But Prof, from your own angle of international political economy, can you help us unravel this Nigeria-China economic diplomacy relationship so far?
Among all our diplomatic engagement, I can actually confidently tell you that Nigeria's economic diplomacy with China or People's Republic of China is the most formidable, is the most outstanding, is the most productive, and is the most fruitful economic diplomatic engagement Nigeria will ever actually carry out. Why? Because this also showcases President Ahmed Bola Tinubu's seriousness and uniqueness. Why? Because FOCAC, which is the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, which started in the year 2000, sometimes in Africa, sometimes in Beijing. And this time around last year, September, when President Bola Tinubu traveled to Beijing in order to attend this particular FOCAC, he was able to actually motivate President Xi Jinping to advance Nigeria-China bilateral relationship. China has strategic relationship with all countries in Africa, but Ahmed Bola Tinubu has been able to upgrade and promote that particular strategic relationship to comprehensive strategic relationship. And immediately Ahmed Bola Tinubu returned to Nigeria, he established a liaison office and communication office between China and Nigeria, which is headed by the Director General Joseph Tegbe. And this man, Tegbe, is doing a wonderful job in this particular office in making sure that all the MOU signed between China and Nigeria are fully implemented. And that is why the Center for...
Oh, we are having another network con, but I know Prof will be back so that he can you can help us to shape. All right, go ahead, Prof.
Which will bring together representatives of government from West African countries, the economic community of West African states, a Chinese delegation from China, regional state governors, as well as
another network connection.
Institutional leaders, members from corporate organizations, industry, to come to Abuja, as well as discuss and brainstorm on areas of China-Africa modernization.
All right, that's another network cut there, but Prof will be back. Let's go for a short break. When we return, our discussion with Prof will continue shortly.
Now here's some exciting news. ADBN is everywhere you are. Stay connected with us across all our social media and streaming platforms for exclusive news updates, captivating stories, and more. Join the ADBN community today via our various platforms on Avo TV app, ADBN channel 121, Niger TV app, ADBN TV, Limex World TV app, ADBN TV. Get the latest news straight to your phone. Join our WhatsApp channel. Just search for ADBN TV and hit the follow button. Turn on your notification to stay updated and never miss any part of the experience. Stay in the conversation with us across our social media handles on X at ADBN_TV, Instagram at ADBN_TV, Facebook ADBN TV, YouTube ADBN TV_NG, and keep visiting our website on www.adbntv.com. Watch us live anytime, anywhere. ADBN TV, a part of you.
Glad to have you join us back, and we are back from that short break. Prof is still with us. A very good day to you, Prof. Are you there? All right, Prof, are you there? We are so sorry for that network issue, but Prof, you can continue your thought from where you stopped, sir.
Yes, as I was saying, due to the resoluteness of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, when he returned from China, he discovered China actually. He became the Columbus of Africa, Columbus of Nigeria. Why? Because when he traveled to the Far East and attended the 9th Forum on China-Africa Summit, he discovered the potentialities, the great potentials of China, and what Nigeria, how much benefit Nigeria could actually, tap from this particular engagement with China. So immediately he returned, he established that particular China-Africa licensing office, which is headed by, Mr. Joseph Tegbe. And apart from this, more centers and institutes are coming up. And as I was saying, the Center for Contemporary China-Africa Research in Nigeria will be hosting a post-FOCAC conference West Africa in next month in Abuja here in order.
Oh, that network cut there. But Prof will be back with us so that he can give us more light on this issue, particularly the economic diplomacy, a greater, stronger tie that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have been having with China. Not just China alone, he has also had stronger tie with Netherlands as well as Saudi Arabia. Okay, Prof, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Yes, so you see, these are reasons why Nigeria should strongly uphold its relationship with the People's Republic of China. This is primarily because it is actually, comprised of uncountable benefit. And that is why when you mention the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, this is an area through which can only develop with the partnership with China. Why? Because each and every African country is unique with, great potentials. Some countries have gold, some have diamond, some have oil and gas, some have uranium, and many more of such. And the only reliable partner that could help in the tapping and exploring these particular resources is China, with cheap technology as well as commitment to help African countries actually achieve modernization and development. So you can see China has a great opportunity also in this particular relationship, which President Tinubu has discovered. And he's coming more closer to China than even countries in the West. That is why no country has that particular strategic implementation institution or center, like China. And that is why, with that particular respect, which President Bola Tinubu has given to China, he established that particular, institution, as a directorate headed by Joseph Tegbe. So a lot of potentials, opportunities, Nigeria stand to actually gain in this particular partnership, a relationship with economic diplomacy with China will actually bring a rapid development, infrastructure built up, modernization, common security, as well as mutual learning among civilizations, which are actually constituted in the 10 Partnership Action Plan agreed or jointly declared between the leaders of Africa as well as the leadership of the People's Republic of China, as headed by President Xi Jinping.
Very interesting and very elaborate perspective from you, Prof. But let's also look at other areas of economic diplomatic adventure or exercise by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Just recently, also saw a very laudable economic diplomacy relationship between Nigeria and Germany, whereby the Siemens transformer building project was revamped. I know you must have been followed that up also lately, and right now the Siemens production of gigantic transformer for Nigerian electricity sector is underway. And with that regard, what do you have to say about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, going all the way into Europe and bringing these goodies back home to Nigeria through his economic diplomacy policies?
Economic diplomacy has no boundaries because it is limitless. There is no any gap or any structure that could actually show its horizon. And an entity like Nigeria, a great nation like Nigeria, should be able to explore and tap from all the international structures or economic structures. You could go to Europe, you could go to US, you could go to Australia, you could go to Asia, West Asia, Central Asia, you could go to Latin America and the Caribbean. But where should you go? you should go to any place and establish that particular economic diplomacy, a place which will bring more potentials to Nigeria, which will facilitate Nigeria's economic growth and development, which will bring good to Nigeria, which will bring industry to Nigeria, which will bring modernization to Nigeria, which will bring infrastructure development to Nigeria, which will make sure that we have a stable power in Nigeria, we have stable water supply in Nigeria, and our population duly recruited and employed. So wherever President Tinubu will go in the world for economic diplomacy and partnership that will actually be productive and fruitful for Nigeria, we'll give him our support to do that. And any nation that will actually try to establish such relationship with Nigeria with a level playing ground, with respect to the dignity of Nigeria and Nigerians, for mutual benefit and win-win cooperation, Nigeria and Nigerians are ready. And in that particular, to that particular effect, we support our president to continue with such economic diplomacy so long it remains fruitful and productive for the country.
Exactly. Now, talking about a win-win situation, I know when we come to international economic palace, there's always be that aspect whereby we normally wait on the side of the South-South or the North. But in this regard, from your own understanding of all this economic diplomacy of President Tinubu, what do you see as areas of challenge that the government need to work on, at least as we look forward to other benefits that will come through?
One major of challenge is our failure to manufacture to exporting level. Why? Because if you look at the spirit of mercantilism, the mercantilists believe that you need to produce. Apart from production, you also need to export more than you actually import. So this is one challenge. Nigeria imports more than it exports. That is where trade imbalance will actually arise.
Exactly.
So this particular challenge can be bridged up when we have a more production-driven economy. We have a more inertia to set up industries to manufacture locally, to process locally, to consume locally, as well as be able to export from our local industries. So if we're able to do this, not only produce, we should ensure quality standard, that our product will actually stand the test of time and be of international standard. So if we're able to galvanize Nigeria into this particular fora, then definitely Nigeria will be able to come out of these particular challenges and problems of economic stability, and thereby creating a kind of a solid foundation and ground for Nigeria to emerge as one of the rapidly most growing economy in the international system, and this will boost Nigeria's development in all ramifications.
Exactly. Prof, I won't let you go without asking you this other question around this economic diplomacy of President Bola Tinubu. And lately also we saw him signing agreement in the area of a bilateral and multilateral agreement pact, particularly in agriculture. I remember the last year G20 meeting, and in Brazil, there was an agreement around the building of a agricultural zone in Nigeria, which Brazil is very, very interested in that regard, particularly building an abattoir in Nigeria. Then also we also have pact and agreement signed in the area of human capital development. What do you make of that? And how can Nigeria, as you rightly pointed out earlier in the discussion, you said consistently and persistently we must hold on to some of these agreements going forward?
Well, it is a good inertia. If Brazil should make these particular proposals with Nigeria, it is a great opportunity for Nigeria to grab wholeheartedly. And remember, agriculture involves divergent areas.
Exactly.
It could be, animal rearing, it could be crop production, it could be fishery, crop improvement, and the rest of them. So if we have this, we also have, that issue of human development. Human development is only obtainable when people have jobs to do, when people are actually employed. When people are employed, they have something to do, they can put food on their table, they can finance their children to school, they can afford hospital bills, they feel highly securitized, then that will actually produce meaningful human development. So it is a good opportunity, it is a good inertia, such a proposal from Brazil and Nigeria. If only we can do that. We have been agrarian because we have not been producers. We are still on the primary stage. So if Nigeria should boost agriculture, not alone exporting agricultural produce, but let it.
All right, another network issue there with Prof. But we know he'll be back so that I can conclude his thought in this regard. I've asked him about the human capital development, the agricultural sector in Nigeria is also signing pact with the likes of Brazil and many other.
We're able to expand this. We're able to expand this, then definitely we are going to venture into industry because some of this particular agricultural produce need to be processed. Even storage facility is another challenge, which Nigeria, in this particular partnership, should be able to actually establish a kind of modern storage facility. But most of these particular storage facilities need power and need power generation constantly and invariably made. So human development can actually be achieved through agricultural modernization, through industrial production and processing of such agricultural produce, as well as services to be provided in this particular sector.
Exactly. Prof, I can't thank you enough, but thanks so much for coming on the show to help us, analyze President Tinubu economic diplomacy after 2 years. I'm quite an intellectual dissection that you have made on this analysis. Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you for having me.
So we hope to call you soon so that we can also extract other aspects of the economy in the Nigerian microeconomic space from your own perspective and your own angle. Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you.
All right, sir. I've been speaking with Professor Sheriff Ghali Ibrahim, HOD of Political Science and International Relations, University of Abuja, and also the Director of International Center in University of Abuja. Yeah, help us to put a perspective to the contribution of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Nigeria economic diplomacy. Over the years, we have had several issues in economic diplomacy. Previous administration of President Buhari had its own. President Jonathan also had its own. But for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it's a unique one, according to Professor Sheriff. A unique one in the sense that he discovered China the way Columbus discovered new lands across the world. So it's a good one for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We just hope that, as Prof said, consistent and persistent in some of those agreements is the key, because when we look away from those agreements, those multilateral pacts, then something else will happen. But we don't hope that will happen, because the last 2 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been great when it comes to economic diplomacy, even though it has its own challenges, which we believe the government will continue to work on all through. We'll be going for a short break, and when we return, the show will continue with our stock analysis as well as commodity analysis going forward across the world. And we won't forget to say, also look at Nigerian FX market. What is Naira really up to today? So join us after this short break out.